Welcome back to the Tara Palmeri Show. A lot has happened since Ellie Leonard, the independent journalist, revealed a document inside of the Epstein file, deep inside, that showed that Michael Cohen was dangling information about Jeffrey Epstein that he heard from President Trump. And he believed that that information could be so helpful to prosecutors that it could help reduce his sentence or help him in his cases. His lawyers got involved. Yeah, pretty crazy, right? And as you all remember from my interviews with Michael Cohen, he's always said that he knew nothing about Jeffrey Epstein, never heard a thing. There's nothing to it. The Jane Doe case that he worked on, it was all bullshit and it was dropped and this and that.
He told me it was bullshit. Take care of it. I said, okay.
That was it.
That's it.
It's bullshit.
He said, it's bullshit. Never happened.
That was really quite revealing. But then get this. After that, Cohen says that the New York County District Attorney Alvin Bragg and the Attorney General Letitia James pressured and coerced him into an anti-Trump testimony in the hush money trial. If you remember, he was the star witness. Obviously, this comes at a very good time for Trump, right? This is super helpful because that case is out on appeal. If it seems that the star witness was pressured and coerced, could throw the case out altogether. It's a huge favor to Trump, right? And then that's where the next wrinkle comes in. So Lev Parnas said that Cohen has been working back channels to get to Trump through the White House to personally request a pardon. And he even wanted to go through George Santos to ask for advice on how to get one. Lev says he has receipts. It's a pretty wild interview. Lev even pulls up his phone. I do some texting to ask George Santos and Michael Cohen their version of events. But yeah, this has all happened in the past few weeks. And Midas Touch, which is the podcast network that was carrying Michael, they dropped him after all of this. So this is a pretty crazy interview. You get to see some live reporting. I'm trying to get down to the bottom of this all. I mean, Michael clearly has helped Trump. And if he's looking for a pardon, this would probably be a way to get one. And he knows Trump better than anyone. Let's not forget, he worked for him for many, many years as his fixer. So take a listen to this interview. I'm desperate to hear what you think.
Crazy day, busy news day. We have a lot of breaking news going on right now. It's coming out straight from Davos. Let's give it a look, a few seconds, let some more people join. And folks, smash those hearts. We have an incredible special guest with us. We have Tara Palmeri. This is the person that, has been a true supporter of the Epstein survivors. She's been on this case from the very beginning for years, and she's been fighting for their story, for their truth to come out. And sometimes you never know where that thing might happen that pops the whole thing wide open. And then, something crazy happened with a regular interview that she was doing with Michael Cohen, and she asked a regular question. And from that regular question, folks, here we are. We are now in the middle of something I think that is very big, something that is not just, this is not something where it's me or Tara or anybody against Michael Cohen. This has nothing to do with Michael Cohen. I want to make it very clear. This has to do with Epstein survivors. This has to do with justice for the Epstein survivors. And it also has to do with accountability for the criminals and the people that have been covering up and involved in this for a while. And one thing that I want to make sure also is that there's a lot of things going on back and forth. Michael Cohen is trying to make a claim that we are accusing him of something. Nobody, neither Tara, nor Zev, nor myself, nor Ellie has ever accused Michael Cohen of anything except for not telling the full story. We deal on facts. The facts are, folks, that Michael Cohen's name is in the Epstein files. It's black and white. There's no question about it. And it's not just a name. It's basically says a letter from his attorneys while he was incarcerated at the time of Epstein's arrest, basically saying to the prosecutors that Michael Cohen has information about Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. That's black and white.
Yeah.
It's in the Epstein files. So that's one thing we need explanation. We need Michael Cohen to tell us what's going on there. Number two is Michael Cohen was working for Donald Trump as his fixer. And today I put out a video for those of you that some of you might have forgot who really Michael Cohen is. And it shows you a CNN outtake of Michael Cohen threatening a reporter, asking him a question, just like Tara did, about, at that point, the rape of Ivana Trump. And Michael Cohen, just like he unleashed on the reporter there, unleashed on Tara, and you could see the true Michael Cohen, that nothing changed. And I put that out there today because Michael Cohen, at that time in 2016, when there was a actual case filed by a minor, a 13-year-old, Katie Johnson. She was Jane Doe. She filed a case 3 days prior, X amount of days prior to the election. All of a sudden, the case was dropped. Michael Cohen was his number one fixer at the time. Since then, Michael Cohen has been telling a story. One story he's been telling to Tara, he's been telling others about this other Jane Doe, about another case. And even though Michael thinks that it somehow whitewashes him, but it's even worse because he's telling Tara and all of us basically that there was another child basically saying that she was raped by Donald Trump, and that he basically sent private investigators to look to find her. So this is how this all started. I'm giving you a preamp, and this is how we are here today. So those are facts. We need those two things. If anything else, on the record, Michael Cohen explaining exactly about this Jane Doe, which nobody else seems to find. There's no record of another Jane Doe, another case file, and he needs to go on the record, and he needs to go on the record under oath explaining what it is he was going to tell the government about Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein to be able to get out of jail and get Rule 35. So, Tara, I brought it up to you. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, no, I think it's interesting. I saw over the weekend that Midas Touch decided they no longer want to produce a show with Michael Cohen on their network. And, this isn't like a witch trial. It's just, what do you know? What do you not know? I think it was pretty clear from the beginning of our conversation when he said, I know nothing, I know nothing. And then by the end of the conversation, he cracked and admitted that he knew this one case, but it just didn't make sense. It didn't make sense because, like you said, we haven't seen this this case on the docket. And so I called around to other lawyers who were doing Epstein, cases at the time to see if they were aware of this, because, when there are new dockets on the file that involve Jane Does that mention Jeffrey Epstein, lawyers, they work together. You know this, like they try to figure out if they can help each other on the case, and none of them knew about this case. I was also kind of disturbed, not kind of, very disturbed to hear that his way of handling it when President Trump told him to handle it was to send a private investigator, which is exactly why, women file, and men, as Jane Does or John Does to protect their identity so that private investigators don't harass them, don't find them, don't shame them, don't threaten their lives. And so a lot of these women who are, sexually harassed and abused by Jeffrey Epstein, like he used private investigators to harass them. One of them, Jane Doe 1, Courtney Wild, said she was nearly run off the road from them. And she was a teenager at the time. So yeah, it was really disturbing. He said in his interview with Joe Walsh that what he was offering the feds was the Jane Doe
Great pickup.
story.
That was
Yeah.
exactly.
But the thing is that the way he described it to me is he said it was bullshit. So like, how could that a story that's bullshit be valuable enough to the feds that it would trigger Title 35 and would reduce whatever sentence that he had by providing information that was so useful to the feds that they could use it in another case. So I think ultimately, like, if that is true, if they were being honest with the SDNY, which I would have to assume his lawyers were being honest with the SDNY, then they have very valuable information that the public should know about. And I just found it to be very suspicious when, Michael went on TV and was constantly saying Trump did nothing wrong with Epstein. I just know it. I just know it. And he didn't say why. There were no follow-up questions. And I just felt like it needed a little bit more explaining, because at the same time, when the Katie Johnson case came forward, he was also dealing with Stormy Daniels, Karen McDougal. These were the cases that he dealt with. So he definitely has had at least some context or knowledge of a very prominent case that was filed 3 times with very big lawyers, like heavy hitters, like Lisa Bloom behind
Yep.
her. And so at the very least, he would have been aware of it. He's like, I know nothing. I never talked to Trump about Epstein. I know nothing. And it was just like, the man doth protest too much. And then we found out that there is some case, but I'm not sure if it's real or if he just made it up because he felt like he was under pressure and he felt like he had to say something, but knew that he couldn't talk about the Katie Johnson case. The video you posted this morning, though, of him, screaming at a reporter. I mean, I've been on the other end of a call like that with
Yeah.
him back when he was still working for Trump and I was a White House correspondent. So,
Yeah.
I think a lot of reporters understood that like it was his job to protect Trump at all costs, which is like something you never really forget when you're on the other end of a call like that, because it reminds you that like that was his job. And so therefore he probably likely had more information than he's saying. I would just like to know a docket number. I'm sure he has notes somewhere and could tell us a little bit more about this Jane Doe case. It's pretty critical. It's not like we're just talking
Yes.
about, not that any rape by any man is right, but we're talking about, protecting the most powerful man in the world at one time. And so it's very critical. I mean, it's why the Epstein story has captivated
Yeah.
the American public for so long, is the sense that that the rot goes all the way to the top. And so if there's anyone who understands and knows that, it would be him, of all people. So I think that's what we're getting to now. Does Michael fear for his life? Does Michael see an end game where he switches sides again? I don't know. Because I did think the timing was interesting when he'd said that Tish James pressured him into testifying against Trump. And obviously that testimony, that could be used in an appeal. And Trump is trying to appeal that ruling. And so he can say, star witness was pressured. Suddenly he's helping Trump. What does this mean for him and his future legal problems? Like, there's one thing I think we know about Michael is that he's got a lot of legal issues to deal with.
Big
And
time.
so being on the right side of the most powerful man in the world is not, a bad thing. Now, I don't want to speak for him. I don't know exactly if he is being completely honest and says, yeah, it's just that he's been so all over the place. Like even the prosecutors in the email that they exchanged, the SDNY, when Michael claimed to have information about it, they were like, but can we really trust him? Like, is he credible? And I don't know. To me, like, I'm not going to say like who can be an independent journalist or commentator or pundit, but it's just so all over the place. And
Yeah. It's sad.
there's a lot of like what's going on there. And I don't really care if it attacks me personally, because this is
But
it's kind of
no,
comes to
but
the territory of being
no,
a
but
journalist.
yeah, but he shouldn't. Trump shouldn't. Nobody should have a right to attack and do the things the way the
Yeah.
tactics that he used, and he just shows you more and more of Trump. And first of all, I want to say we have close to 1,000 people. Everybody, if you haven't yet, make sure to go subscribe to Tara right now. She has been on this from the beginning. Between the work that she started it, she's been on it. Then Ellie came in, found some more stuff, and this is what independent journalism. And she knows Michael going back. Like, listen to the story. So you want to, especially as this story uncovers, make sure to give Tara a follow. But Tara, let me tell you what I'm hearing and give you a little background of what's been going on and why the timing. It's not coincidental, because me and Michael have been going at it behind the scenes, because I've been also hearing from my sources on the inside of the White House that Michael's been reaching out to Trump, that he's been trying to somehow, but Trump has been ignoring him. Michael doesn't really have a good chance, because Michael even reached out to me and tried to figure out if I had any contacts that he could reach out to Trump and try to figure out what it is he could give Trump to be able to get a pardon. I remember having that conversation saying, Michael, you're crazy. I said,
When was this conversation? Do you mind me asking?
this was a few months ago, and I remember even saying I think it was right around the time when he wrote the first letter with him and Jesse Jackson Jackson about that that didn't get too much press. But if you remember, he wrote a letter about the pardon that Biden didn't pardon him, and that him and Jesse Jackson were going, and he was trying to get me on board with that. And I thought he was crazy. And I said to him, I said, Michael, I have a better chance of getting pardoning by Trump without even speaking to him than you do. I remember us having that conversation. I said to him, you really, the Stormy Daniels case, it wasn't just a financial case. I mean, there's a lot of people, the kids were involved. I said, Melania, I said, you have zero chance. And he kept telling me, no, if I find the right thing, what's it called, and I could get to him, it will be, I could get to him. And when the paperwork dropped, when we filed, because first me and Michael got into this whole thing after what happened with you, what happened with Zev, with Ellie. We started going back and forth. He got my son involved, the Midas guys. We had this whole big outburst, but we didn't have a smoking gun until Ellie's subscriber found that memo in the Epstein files that had that conversation about Michael actually having information about Epstein and Trump. And when confronted, like everything else, Michael tried to weasel out of it, squirm out of it. I, at the time, was confronting him behind the scenes, telling him, listen, I know you're trying to get a pardon and use it. And that's when basically, literally that day, he wrote the letter about Tish James and about or a few days later, I don't remember the exact days or the timing, but he wrote the letter. And one of the people that I'm hearing he was dealing with, talking through, is George Santos, where he was looking out to get help. So I don't know if George Santos was the actual guy that helped.
So he was asking George Santos for advice on how to get a pardon from Trump.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Michael, if you are listening, I mean, I've almost got to text him about this. Do you mind? Maybe he'll
go ahead.
respond.
Yeah,
I feel
go
like
ahead.
that's
Ask
pretty.
him. Go ahead. Ask him. Did you? Just ask him like this. What's your relationship with George Santos?
I mean, that is crazy. I'm just gonna say, hey, Michael, did you ask George Santos?
No, he's going to respond. Just ask him what his relationship with George Santos. First, give him a little, because like this, he'll just say, no, you know what I'm saying to you.
Is your really okay? I'll ask him.
Yeah, let's see how he responds to that.
Hold on. You know what's even? Let me ask George.
Yeah.
Hey,
George. Hey, George, do you know?
Journalism in action. This is how we
live. This is Substack.
Quick question. Did Michael Cohen? Oh my God, this is insane. This is how politics works in the Trump era, right?
Did Michael Cohen ever discuss pardons with you or anything now, prior to or before you go to prison or anything? Somehow like that, like posted.
Pardons. Yeah. Wow. Sorry, guys. I just want to figure this one out.
Let's see. Because this is not, we don't have a confirmation. We're trying to confirm it. This is what, like I said, we don't know. We're trying to confirm. Like I heard, that's what I said. We don't know for a fact if George is the person, but let's see. Maybe right here live. That would be awesome. Yeah. That would be awesome.
Journalism in action.
In action, yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, so he basically is tried to do it. It backfired big time. Trump responded, obviously, but he didn't get the response he wanted. And obviously, I think he put himself a little bit in peril with that, because for him to go out right now, and I know Trump's going to use it anyway. I heard Trump's already, basically trying to go after Letitia James and maybe somehow use it, and also use it, like you said, for his appeal that he has going on to get those cases dismissed. But it also puts Michael in a kind of a jam, because then he would have had to have perjured himself on the stand if he would have actually did those things. I spoke to say, I don't know, I'm not a lawyer, but it gets very, very complicated about saying, especially after there's so much video of him coming out and praising Letitia James and Alvin Bragg, of how great that work was and how incredible. You know what? You want me to text George also while we're doing this?
Yeah, he's asking the question mark. I'll just say, let's see what George says.
Okay. Let me see.
This is amazing. Wow.
Yeah, hold on a second.
Yeah, no, he said, I want to make sure you have the right person. Oh wait, am I texting with shoot?
Yeah, I got
Oh
George.
yeah, yes, yes. I heard he said lol. Yes, I heard he was asking you for advice on how to get a pardon from Trump. Which his response makes me think,
I'm telling you.
yeah, or who knows? Maybe I'll put them on a group text, like you said.
Wow, that was great, Tara. I love it, man.
Yeah.
This is guys. This is
Jill
what I'm
says
talking about.
Jill says we're watching. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
yeah. Hey, guys, you know what? We'll have George on here. Believe me, we don't play games. We'll bring
said bad. He said it's bad info. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, George. I'll give George a call also.
Yeah,
We'll-
I mean,
we'll-
Lev, if you get
no,
the
no.
you have
If
it.
he,
That's pretty juicy.
yeah, I'm gonna push it, especially if his first response to you was LOL, and then yeah, okay,
He just
George
said
is
you got the wrong person. Yeah. He said I met Michael once and it was on election night at the studios of Channel 4 UK. We do election night coverage in 2024. Okay.
now he's playing a game with you. Now tell him. Actually, I heard that I have sources saying that Lev introduced the two of you. That you, Lev, and Michael Cohen actually that Lev introduced. I have a source that says that Lev
Did I just say
introduced you to
Lev
Michael.
said that he introduced you to?
Yeah. Oh
I think
fuck it.
that
Yeah.
would be
Oh, I'm
more.
sorry. Just say it. Yeah. Go. Yeah.
Lev
Yeah.
said he introduced you to. Uh, I think.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go for it. Yeah. Why play games?
Yeah. I mean. Ooh, let's see what he says. Wow, George Santos, Michael Cohen walk into a bar. Let's start talk pardons. He said no conversation ever happened. Okay.
Okay. Watch this. Okay. So Lev always has the receipts.
Lev remembers. Lev has receipts. That's gonna be your new one.
Yeah, hold on a second. George.
Lisa goes the real sleuths of Substack. This is hilarious. Safe to say I spent the last year focused on myself.
Oh, now he's
Well,
deflecting.
he was in prison, so it's hard to with my mountain of stuff. That's true. Mm.
Okay, I gotta figure this one.
This is amazing.
Okay. So guys, you know how Lev has the proof? December 2nd, February 5th.
Oh, George
At
said
3.
if I knew how to get a pardon, I would have gotten one for myself because he just got a commutated.
Tara, read who George Santos and whose number I sent him on what day. Go ahead.
George. Wow. Okay. Lev has receipts. Oh my God.
George has gotten into some shit. Stupid George.
Well,
Tell the
he has
truth.
he might be playing on the technicality. He did get a commutation, not a pardon.
we just broke some news, guys. This is serious stuff. George Santos is just lied to
But
Tara.
what was his response? Like when you said to Michael, like you were like, "Hey, like when you said."
George texted me, "What are you doing? I thought you and Michael are friends." Oh, let me show you that text.
Oh my God. Lev
If George,
remember.
if George wants to go that route,
Yeah.
guys, I never play games.
I know.
Hold on a second. Tara's like, I know.
Why do I even bother?
Hold on.
He said not denying having it. I just never had the interactions he's leading you to believe I did. So he says he has your info, the info. He just didn't have any interactions with him.
Tell George that you're a good talker, George. Say, can I have you? Oh, say, can I have you and Lev on at the same time? Let's do an interview.
Come on Substack now.
Yeah, would you like say Lev is inviting you on with him right now?
Lev wants to have you on. Wants to have you on this live. Spread the word, kids. We might be getting
Hit those hearts. We might get George Santos.
we might get George on. Yeah.
I guarantee you he's texting Michael right now. He's like, oh shit.
This is crazy.
You know what I don't understand is why do they lie? Like he could have just said, "Yeah, I spoke to Michael," and that would have been the end of it. But why lie? Like why turn around and say, "No, I don't." Now all of a sudden, first he went from he's never spoken to Michael. Now he's gone to I've gotten the information, but I didn't use it.
He said that he's not sure why you're looping him into this, but everyone seems to want to backtrack their trashing of POTUS. He said he's not going to come on the show, so got it.
Okay, we tell him we understand.
Understood. We understand. We understand.
Somebody said he'll be on live tomorrow with Michael Cohen. Guys,
how could we ever compete with that programming? That would never.
Never know. This was very unexpected. We just went on some, inside, sources told us this is what's going on, and we did some journalism work right here. Tara called and confronted them, and you saw live what happened.
Well, we might get the answers from Michael later today. If I do hear from him,
yeah,
I'll
Michael's
send out
not
a
gonna.
note.
Yeah,
you know what? So post. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Definitely make sure you subscribe because if there's, we're going to be breaking it. Me and Tara will go live from wherever we are. But you know what? What has Donald Trump and Michael Cohen? Why this is such a big situation, Tara, and why Cohen Cohen would have told about Trump. What people don't understand is Cohen is not stupid. He understands that if he tells on Trump, it's like Sammy the Bull Gravano telling on Gotti. Yes, did he get Gotti in prison? Did he get less time off? But everybody still understood Sammy the Bull Gravano killed 19 people. He was a nasty human being. Same thing here. He would have to admit that he was the one that did the things to Katie Johnson. He would have to admit that he was the one that, whatever it was, paid her off, threatened her, talked to her. He would have to be the one. And he understands he would never, yes, that would get Donald Trump in trouble, whatever, but he also would have to pay a heavy price. And maybe with his family, maybe with the world, whatever it is. But that's the secret that's holding them together. I don't
understand why go out and talk about Epstein if you know you're so tied to it.
Thank you so much, because that's that narcissistical, forcing and compulsion.
Like a compulsive liar. It's like,
and then also it's like, people like that, the reason why they do it is because they're con artists, and it's because I've been a lot of con artists. You guys know my story. I've been around some of the biggest con artists and the biggest crooks and mafia bosses all over the world. And that's part of the theory, because he pushes something onto you which he never thinks you could prove. Trump does the same thing, if you notice, a lot of time, because he's pushing out, because he never thought that one piece of paper would come out in this dump of the Epstein, especially with 1%. Just think about the chances. Out of that whole dump, we're getting a Michael Cohen letter about Epstein and Trump. Like, what are the chances of that, Tara? That's like getting a needle in a haystack. So he didn't think, and he knew the other thing is he knew that Trump would never allow anything to come out that would have his stuff in it. So he assumed it's either getting scrubbed, he assumed it's either going to get blacked out, or he assumed it's going to get destroyed, because Trump would never allow Michael Cohen stuff. Because the other thing I heard from some insiders, Tara, which you could also look into, maybe speak to some of your contacts in the DOJ, is that there was another proffer. And that's why we're looking into, Ellie's looking into the dumps, and then we see, and that's why, coincidentally, I don't believe, all of a sudden they came out and said they're not giving any more. Remember, right after 2 hours. This happened right after Michael wrote that letter, by the way. So what I want to say to you is, what I'm hearing is that after they came back and said to him, no, they're not listening to him, his attorneys went back to Michael, and Michael gave them a little bit more of a proffer. So then the attorneys came back with a proffer a little bit, to start the conversation. So there was something that was said and is on paper about Trump.
You've heard that.
That's what I've heard. That's why that I spoke to Ellie, and that's why I'm saying, I'm telling everybody, go check your sources. What I'm hearing is there was a follow-up conversation, that wasn't the end to that, because Michael was trying very hard, and I have proof that he continued to try to get the.
It ended up in the Epstein files, right? Anything follow-up?
It should be right. It should be and that's why I think they stopped it. I think they're looking for it. I think Trump. I think they're looking for that follow-up, because that's the link. I think that, because that's the whole link. And, I don't, have the smoking gun on that, but this is where I'm hearing and what I'm looking into. That's why, folks, the biggest thing you could do to help us with what we're doing is we have a petition out there right now. This petition is to be able to right now, yes, Congress should be able to walk and chew gum at the same time. While they're out there fighting to be able to release all the Epstein files, in which we want everything, but while we have this 1%, we know for a fact that there's at least 3 people in there that are considerably named, besides Les Wexner and others that we know are just irregulars. We know Steve Bannon, we know Michael Wolff, and we know Michael Cohen now. We know these people are named in the Epstein file. We know these people have information about Trump, Epstein, and a lot more than they're talking, and they should be right now being deposed. They should be deposed right now while we're waiting for the rest. We shouldn't have to wait for everything and then get this whole dump of collusion. We could walk and choose gun. Do you agree with me, Tara?
Yeah, no, I agree. I totally agree. I think that I don't know why we haven't heard these tapes that these men are holding on to. I think they'd be really valuable. Not just, I think that they're trying to like profit off the tapes. That's the problem.
Sick.
The other thing so just to be clear, Michael asked you for George's number and you said to George, here's Michael's number.
I don't remember exactly who's. I'll check my texts, but
Yeah.
I know. Put you this way: the 3 of us spoke together. They're full of shit. Like, I mean, we've spoken.
Yeah.
Like, I think George or Michael even gave me Matt Gates's new number at some point when I wanted to go. I believe me, if they're gonna go that route, we'll blow 'em. I got text messages. You know how we don't play games, Tara. So like,
Yeah.
let's see how this plays out. Let's see where they want to. You know, what I'm saying to you, and we'll see how far they want to take it.
Wow,
But
that's crazy.
But you know what I'm saying to you.
Lev remembers. Lev has receipts. That's the new shirt. Lev has receipts. Man.
Hey, Tara, I want to first of all thank you so much. I know you're busy, you're traveling. I know you got a lot going on, but we're going to keep on it. This is just the beginning. Folks, please, if you haven't yet, make sure go follow Tara Palmeri, subscribe. Tara is on this, and if you can, like I say, this is independent journalism. We don't have corporate media, so pay subscribers goes a long way and allows us to do what we do. So, Tara, thank you so much. Have a great night.
Thanks for having me.
And
Everybody,
I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
That was another episode of the Tara Palmeri Show. What a wild one, right? I hope you leave some comments, questions. I'm still in shock from it all. I want to thank you all for tuning in, and obviously follow, like, subscribe, share this with all of your friends. Go to tarapalmeri.com. Sign up for my newsletter, The Red Letter. It's where you can get all of my exclusive reporting straight to your inbox. You could have actually watched this go down live if you were a subscriber to The Red Letter. And it was quite something, I've got to say. And and also it's a way to support my independent journalism. I want to thank my producer, Eric Abinate. I want to thank Abby Baker, who does my social media and research. I want to thank Dan Rosen, my manager, and Adam Stewart with these epic graphics. See you again soon.